I get it. The beauty of what I do is the more work I do, like the more inner deep work I do, the better I can understand my clients and see things that I'm working through or have worked through and continue to work through. That's why it's a practice, and then be able to help support and empower my clients that much better.
Hey dude, hope your day's off to a great start. Just thinking this morning about yesterday, last couple of months where we've been with our conversations, and then kind of the point of booking a trip together at the end of the year. And you know, the irony of the show we're gonna go see is called Self-Discovery, and I kind of want to see get your thoughts on setting an intention for the remainder of the year. And I think it goes back to something we've already discussed as far as like, hey, if we keep doing this work, right? The individually what we're each collectively pursuing. And what I mean by that is we're pursuing these individual things while like we have these collective common threads of what our focus is, life focus, right? As Josh says. And we talk about like, hey, by the end of the year we can be in a completely different place. And I think the timing is really powerful there. That we keep doing this work together on a weekly basis. We set an intention of how we support each other on a weekly basis. And that November trip is a celebration of the collective work.
Good morning, fellas. Josh, thank you for the fantastic audio message this morning to kick off the day. I love where your head's at, and it's interesting because when I think back to even when that like-focused term came to mind and my pursuit of connecting with like-focused people focused on growth, contribution, impact, and how the three of us came to be in different ways. We got connected, and here we are doing the work. And the idea of Chris's theme or title for the event, I mean, it makes so much sense, and it's so connected to who we are together individually in the work we're doing and why that's important to us. I know for myself, I've been on, I'd say, a quest of discovering myself, reconnecting back to myself, and that's what my experience with the psilocybin work I've been doing has helped me reveal, is those parts of me that I didn't even realize that I was scared of and hiding, scared of because it wasn't right, or I was afraid of being rejected, or so on and so forth. You know, this is the safety pieces there, and then to be able to express those things with you guys and to hear your journeys of being on the same page. I mean, that's what it's all about. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely open to what ideas you guys have along with that, and yeah, I'm just really excited, and I'm really grateful for the both of you and being on this journey together. And I love the idea of like considering where we'll be individually and together in 6 months, 12 months, so on and so forth. It's a powerful exercise, especially going down that route with two of you guys that are on the same page of focus. And so I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll look forward to what you guys think about moving forward. It's nice because I mean the house is, you know, it's comfortable, but it's also got distractions of its own. So
yeah.
Yep. Well, cool. Well, let's kick it off with what's gone well since we last spoke, and why is that so? What's gonna change, or what are you going to change? Overarching question, is that going to make a difference 6 months, 12 months, 5 years down the line? That's really amazing that you don't have that added pressure on top of the pressure you already have / are putting on yourself. That's just let that sink in for a second. Like, not to make your situation better or worse because of other people's situation, but the fact that you don't have to put yourself more in the hole. I hope you see the beauty in that. That could be true. I'm curious if you can acknowledge, between you and I right now, if fear is what's driving the just want to do the right thing. So this is back to our last conversation. So we start with stories. That's the first layer of building a psychology. It's the things we hear, the things we learn, the things we say or make up based on an experience. Most of it is before the time we have a choice to tell ourselves what the stories are. This creates the second layer, which is the belief system. The belief system becomes a filter of how we see the world, what we see in the world, and what information we take in. So that forms the third layer, is our value system. Based on the value of wanting your family, these different people to be, happy, like it comes from a place of fear, as we acknowledged earlier. So the value is self-preservation. So how that shows up is you just want to do the right thing. You put other people's needs before you, which then undermines the outcome that you actually want, because it's coming from a place of fear. It's not coming from a place of genuine, it could be you care about the people, but really what's fueling it is this fear. And so this belief system is filtering what's really happening. And then you actually have an inverse response of what your intention was. Because your filter is just seeing, your belief system is just seeing this thing, you're wanting to do things right, and you're missing the context. You're not picking up on people, your wife's energy, all that stuff. So I agree with you. The intention was pure. What the difficult work of this work is seeing the layers of awareness to have accountability and ownership of, like, no matter how much I cared and I wanted this thing, what was driving it? It was negative energy. And then it created that scenario. And what I'm picking up on is just from our conversations over the time, these different layers of your psychology is actually undermining your intention because you're abandoning yourself. So you're trying to get those things met in a way that you feel you can control, which happens to be the very thing that sets off the other person. I get it. The beauty of what I do is the more work I do, like the more inner deep work I do, the better I can understand my clients and see things that I'm working through or have worked through and continue to work through. That's why it's a practice, and then be able to help support and empower my clients that much better. Did we actually connect on the Zoom a year and a half ago, or am I dreaming that? I was trying to think, I was like, I feel like we did, but then I'm like, I don't know, because I just know a lot of our mutual connection friends interact with one another, and I feel like, because I learned about your story, I think through a post you shared about how you weren't able to get on certain stages, so you just created your event to solve that problem, and then you've grown it, and a lot of the people I connect with have been at your events, but I was like, did I imagine that, or did we actually talk about that? So.
Honestly, I have no clue, and if we did, I've slept since then, so, we'll take it like we haven't, and fucking go through it, man. Tell me more about you, your story, all that shit. I know you keep popping up in the feed and everything, and I'll tell you a little bit more about our world, and see what the fuck turns up from there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, the long story short, I turned pro in freestyle BMX my junior year of high school, pursued that path up until I was 32, and then decided to figure out who I was beyond the bike.
Not what?
BMX, like bicycles.
We did talk. I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we met back then. Yeah.
So made it to the X Games, and all that stuff was training with my heroes like Dave Mira, was friends with him, traveling the world, doing all that stuff. And then January 2020, I had this feeling inside of me that was like, there's got to be something more to me, overcoming the injuries, overcoming all the brain tumor diagnoses, surgeries along the way, to just riding a bike. And so I started an experiment to figure out who I was. 2 months later, pandemic happened. A year later, I had a seizure in my sleep that was a 5th brain tumor diagnosis, golf ball sized tumor in my frontal lobe. And then that solidified my experiment. And now I'm a little over 5 years now since I've touched my bike, and just really got clear on what it is I'm meant to do in this world, and that's help empower people. And taken a very intentional approach of curating a network of what I call like-focused people. I just got to keep meeting people, keep putting my value out there, and then connect with like-focused people like yourself, and just keep doing the 100%. Thing. Yeah, awesome, man.
That's everything. Anybody I know that's been successful, you go look, and they can point to everybody else at the same level as they are, because they all rose together. Mm-hmm. Because they were all kind of going through the grind at the same time. So I'm doing the exact same thing. Yeah, I love it. That's why I wanted to reach out. I see it, and I'm inspired by it, and want to be supportive of it and be connected. And so I got your number. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks,
good chatting with you again.
Same. All right, dude.
All right, have a good one. Bye. I'm sitting here editing the vlog and realize my bias for action with this re-entry of the vlog lately. I made a little error in the whiteboarding session I had, so picked the wrong color for the brightness, and so it's very hard to read. So gonna have to go back and reshoot that with a darker color for the whiteboard and maybe some different positioning of the camera for better lighting. But hey, we're taking action, we're learning as we go, and that's the name of the game. That's why I love golf, that's why I love BMX, that's also why I love entrepreneurship is, what can I learn to level up and become better at what I do and get better results? Until we become aware of this process, we're going to continue wondering why we keep having the same challenges, same experiences, or same self-sabotaging loops. Before you were able to make a decision to make up your mind, the world made it up for you. And this comes down to the ability to be suggested something. So today's video, we're gonna talk about the power of suggestion, why it's important, and how you can go about changing who you are and how you show up based upon understanding your psychology. I wanna simplify how I look at mindset and/or psychology, the building blocks of it, and why it's important to understand. Point blank, it's important to understand your psychology because the experiences and the results that you generate in your life and/or create in your life are dependent on how you show up in the world, which is formed by your psychology. It's influenced by your psychology. It's great that you're aware of that because what we work on personally in our lives transpires professionally, vice versa, because you're at the crux or the catalyst to both of them. So it's important to understand how this world can also be mirrored in this world and how we can show up in those ways that are more empowered rather than waiting for things to get worse and then resentment build up, negative emotion build up. The decision or the conversation gets even more charged and we avoid all those things. So I'm glad to know that that's where your headspace is just seeing the parallels. Yeah, it's perfect. On that note, that's what the intention of the second layer I mentioned of questioning comes from, because if you think about why does someone not take empowered decision or make empowered decisions right out the gate, there's probably a level of fear there. And that's what we want to dilute, because it doesn't matter how you show up, it matters how they perceive how you show up. And so when you can ask these questions, you can demonstrate first, giving them autonomy, by putting the question back on them, that's awesome. And then going a layer deeper of like, all right, well, what inspires you to reach out first, not make the decision? Kind of gets them to think more about maybe what they're feeling and they didn't realize that they were feeling that. And then that's what their urge to act off that feeling was to check in with someone that they respect and admire first, then themselves. So that's just like another layer of why that's important to go, is because we can figure out what's not being said. And that's really important because what's not being said is usually more important than what's being said, because that's also the very thing that creates blind spots or creates issues that could be resolved, but they may not feel safe in that environment, whether it be one-on-one or in front of other people. So we can ask that by demonstrating first and then asking, what inspired this question or this decision, rather than taking the decision for yourself. So as it relates to your intention for today, I think it's important to start with defining what it is that you want to display in terms of leadership. You mentioned demonstrating effective leadership that isn't dominant. First, actually, let's go there. Do you want to not be dominant, or do you want to harness dominance in an effective way that's inspiring rather than fear-mongering? So then there's the next question. What does dominant mean to you? Definition of dominance: power and influence over others. So another way to say that is inspiring. Confidence and creates inspiration. So if you want someone to be, to take the autonomy that they have and run with it, if they come to you with a question that they should be answering, what you've already shared that you've displayed is being dominant. It's putting the question back on them. Well, what do you think? Just working on some final things for the day. Had a couple great sessions today with some clients. It's days like this with the sessions I had that reinforce why I do what I do and just remind me that I'm just really, in the grand scheme of things, just getting started and learning more of what I don't know about being an entrepreneur and building this coaching business and just taking it to where I want to go. And so, yeah, it's just one of those things, man. Like you gotta, I heard this quote: when you feel nervous get into service. And not that I was feeling nervous, I just feeling a lot of pressure and just a lot of like heaviness this morning, and just was showing up and doing the work I do and having the validation, the value I aim to provide and was providing today to my clients. It reinforces why I do what I do, and gets me back on track and gets me hyped. And so now I just got some editing to do, get some LinkedIn and other communication stuff to do, some client notes, and then we'll wrap up the day. We'll head home, have dinner with Jackie, chill out with her, and then she heads out to Richmond to work a Taekwondo event for the next couple days. And I was supposed to golf this afternoon, early evening with my friend Ryan, golf 9 holes, but some storms have been coming through, so the course is a little soggy, so we're going to try and push it to tomorrow or next week. But it's been a good day, and we're just going to wrap up with some communication editing work. Little side note, here at my client's office, they have kombucha and cold brew on tap. So considering it's almost 3:30 in the afternoon, I opted for the kombucha, and it's just one of the perks of being here at the office. And it's one of these days where it's slow. No one's really here. I see a couple people here, but Wednesdays are usually a slow day here at the office. So I like to come take advantage of these big meeting rooms with whiteboards and lots of space and light. And it's a little dark out today because of the storm, but still a good time.